I am involved in the oil, the watercolor, and the embroidery community. And let me tell you, the people that collect the most amount of supplies, definitely the watercolor community. It's not just that we're constantly being marketed to with all these beautiful palettes and really appealing packaging. I think there's a lot more behind the psychology of it. Let's get into the video. Now, the point that I knew that the marketing had got me was actually not with watercolor stuff. It was with Himi gouache. So I would like to know your experience purchasing Himi gouache and whether you still use it. The packaging of this is so cute. The way you rip the foil off the top of each little pot of gouache is so satisfying. It just checks all the boxes of something you instantly want to collect and you instantly want to own. And guess what? Of course, it's at a relatively affordable price point, and the next thing you know, you're ordering it from Amazon. Now, I've resisted, but let me tell you, every few months, I'll see a video and I'll be kind of almost wanting to think about buying it again, but so far I have resisted. I think if I do anything, I'll probably get a limited set of tube gouache, I think. I just know that those little pots are gonna be too much for me to try and upkeep. And I think if you don't use them a lot, they're gonna dry up. It's not something you can hold on to for years the way you would with watercolor. But I think it just epitomizes that highly collectible, super appealing, candy-like appeal that I think a lot of us fall prey to in the world of watercolor. And I know this because you guys tell me as well. And so yes, people overbuy paper, people overbuy all kinds of things, but I think a lot of us are just really drawn to the paints themselves. And that is partly also an aesthetic thing. When you unwrap most little half pens, I swear it is like the satisfying appeal of unwrapping a Bazooka Joe gum from our childhood. And if you don't remember those, there were these little individual packages of chewing gum and you would open it and there would be like a little waxy paper comic inside. I swear, I have not found anything in life that evokes that childhood response of the pleasure of having a little treat, quite like unwrapping a little foil wrapped with a wax inside, half pan. It is such a close experience to that. Okay, I'm at the office today and I wanted to bring with me just a limited selection of things just to see how little I could bring. And speaking of candy-like appeal, something that got me, here's my busted Ziploc bag that you see me use over and over again. This little Roman Schmal Urban Sketchers palette, it is designed to appeal. When I saw it, it was I had to have it and I bought it. And I'm just not using it as much as I would like to. So I'm trying to make a point of bringing this with me. And I try to keep my selection very pared back today because I actually do think, and you're gonna have to let me know if you agree, that constraint is really a wonderful thing. It's kind of freeing to only have very little with you. Forces you maybe to level up your skill in that moment anyway. So I just brought one watercolor brush. This is my Cotman size 6 and not a fine liner. Even though it looks like one, this is actually the sketch brush that Sakura makes. So it's basically got the flexible nib instead of the fine liner nib. I love using this one. Does this have a size on it? SBR it says, sketch brush. And then my little Hanamulla that I use for nature journaling. And now that there's not a lot of flowers to draw, I've moved on to some other subjects. So hopefully I can make a little time in my day here as I go about my work to get a little painting time in. And I didn't bring a pencil, so we're gonna be pencil free. But yeah, that's what I brought along. And just look how cute these things are. Just these things, look how cute they are. There's a cute factor to watercolor supplies that doesn't really exist, like oil. I have oil supplies and they're ugly by comparison. Let's just say what it is. The tubes are kind of look like gunky toothpaste tubes all squished up, right? Back from lunch and look what I missed. That's gonna make for an interesting drive home. On the plus side, it is very, very Christmassy looking out there. So in case you're somewhere where you would like to see a little bit of snow for the Christmas season, I thought I would angle myself this way. You can enjoy the snow behind me. I think one of the things about watercolor is that not only are the collectible things like the different palettes, the individual pans, the half pans, the full pans, very aesthetic. Like if I think of Kuretake watercolors, not that I own a set, but you know, they come in that beautiful green box. It's just like very visually appealing in a way I think that a lot of other media are not. It's not just that, it's highly individualizable. Like you can show a lot of your individual personality through your aesthetic choices, even on how you have like your studio set up, because you know, there's brushes and they come in beautiful colors and they look really nice when you have them in containers. And then there's like even your water bowls, clean water, dirty water, or just like whatever you use to clean off your brush. There's such a huge variety of what you can choose from. It just feels like a great way to also show your personality, which I think contributes again to the collectible, irresistible, addictive aspect of it all. And you know, you've got journals galore, and then they're very cute as well. Like everything is very kind of, not everything, but so much of it is kind of bitsy and low stakes, because often you're just buying like a few things at a time, like a couple brushes, a couple pans of paint. I don't want to deny there's like a highly collectible aspect to it that I completely understand and is just not present like in embroidery. If I think about embroidery, nobody's really fussing over the cotton floss types. There's like maybe 3 really well-known brands. Once in a while you can get like a collectible set of them, but just in general that's not the vibe, even though it could be. Someone else wrote to me in the comments that they think that how it became so popular, like if you look at the Google search trend for watercolor for beginners, it shot up like crazy over the pandemic and COVID when people are inside, and that's not so much the vibe for other forms of art. But because of that, you know, of course, then haul videos became popular, and then people are reporting on every latest product drop, and it just kind of snowballed and became its own huge thing. And that didn't so much happen with oil. I think it did a little bit with embroidery, and of course there's so many other things I'm not even touching upon. I know there's like mixed media artists out there. I'm sure acrylics became a lot more popular then too. I think just having been here on YouTube myself a while and just having seen so many videos, watercolor stands alone as a place where people just love to collect supplies. I don't know how else to put it. I'm guilty to a certain degree of that too, even though I'm very often talking about how obviously it's not great. I think it loads people up with a lot of guilt when they buy more things that they can use up in a lifetime. And then a lot of people have found like clever ways to de-stash, giving it away, teaching classes, like teaching younger people, giving it to secondhand shops that specialize in paint supplies. I wish I had one. There's a really good one, I think, in Vancouver where it's secondhand art supplies. What a genius idea for a business. I mean, if I were an entrepreneur type, that would be a really nice one to open up. I think would definitely scratch an itch. Okay, if you're enjoying this video so far, please do consider liking, subscribing, and I've got just a tiny little plug. I've launched a new channel. It's called Field Notes. It's right now about minimalism, so I'm doing like a little series on minimalism. I'll drop a link if you want to join me over there, where it's not about art there, but it is about, you know, living a less stressful life. Isn't that what we're all after at the end of the day? I said it once and I'll say it again. I think that there's just an incredible candy-like appeal of watercolor supplies. On top of that, there are so many YouTube videos and resources about all the things that are coming out, and then you just see it and you're like, oh, that looks so great, I want that. And very often the prices are within reach. If I had to buy a whole new set of oil tubes to replace the one that I have, it's going to be over $100. And you know, it would not be as expensive for just the same primary, like split primary set of watercolors. And not only that, like the oil, I'm going through like crazy. It just, you go through it very quickly. But watercolor, you really don't go through it nearly as quickly at all, unless you're painting on some huge scale and painting a ton. If you work in oil or acrylic, you know how much faster you use up those type of paints. Watercolor is not like that. You can have watercolor for just like ages and ages, right? So then you start to accumulate it. So you're buying, but you're also accumulating the stuff it would take so long to use up. I still have my original Cotman travel palette, the very first thing I ever bought. Most of the colors are still there. Like I still have something left to use. Even though I've hit pan, there still is probably like half of a year left or more of use left in them. So they take a long time to use up the dry watercolor is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say on the subject. Let me know what you think about the collectability and the addictive and irresistible factor of watercolor supplies. Is this accurate? What are your thoughts on it? With that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.